Hello, I'm Soji and welcome. Now, let's have a frank conversation about something that many people find intimidating: investing. For too many of us, the idea of investing feels like it's reserved for people in sharp suits, using complicated language on a frenetic trading floor. But I want to dispel that myth right now. Investing, when done sensibly, is one of the most powerful tools available to anyone in the UK looking to build a more secure financial future. It's about making your hard-earned money work harder for you, rather than just letting it sit there, potentially losing its value over time. This video is specifically designed for beginners. We're going to cut through the jargon and get straight to the point. We'll explore the fundamental reasons why you should consider investing, and more importantly, how you can do it in a smart, tax-efficient way. The key to this, for most people in the UK, is a brilliant tool called an ISA, or Individual Savings Account. We'll break down exactly what an ISA is, the different types you can get, and how you can use one to start your investment journey, even with a small amount of money. My goal here is simple: to give you the clear, practical information you need to feel confident enough to take those first steps. We're not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or risky bets. We're talking about a long-term strategy for building wealth wisely, protecting it from the taxman as much as legally possible, and setting yourself up for the future. So grab a cuppa, get comfortable, and let's get started on the path to becoming a savvy investor. Right, first things first. Why should you even think about investing? You've got your money in a savings account, it's safe, you can see it. What's the problem? The problem, in one word, is inflation. Inflation is the silent thief that erodes the value of your cash over time. If your savings are earning 3% interest, but prices in the shops are rising by 4%, you are effectively getting poorer. Your money might be growing, but its purchasing power, what you can actually buy with it, is shrinking. Historically, over the long term, investing in the stock market has offered returns that have outpaced inflation, meaning your money has a better chance of actually growing in real terms. Of course, the flip side of higher potential returns is higher risk. And this is a crucial point I need you to understand. Unlike a savings account where your cash is protected up to £85,000 by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, with investing, the value of your investments can go down as well as up. You could get back less than you put in. This is why investing is not for money you might need in an emergency, or for a short-term goal like a holiday next year. This is for the long haul, think 5, 10, 20 years or more. Time is your best friend in investing. It allows you to ride out the inevitable bumps in the market. Starting early, even with small amounts, is incredibly powerful thanks to something called compounding. Think of it as a snowball effect. Your initial investment earns a return. The next year, you earn a return on both your original money and the return it's already made. It's a chain reaction of growth. The longer you leave it, the more powerful that effect becomes. That's why a 25-year-old investing £100 a month has a huge advantage over a 45-year-old starting with the same amount. Before you even think about where to invest, you must be honest with yourself about your risk tolerance. Are you someone who would panic and sell if your investments dropped by 20%? Or can you stomach the ups and downs for a potentially greater reward down the line? Knowing this about yourself is step one. So let's be absolutely clear. This isn't about gambling. It's a calculated decision for your long-term financial health. Savings are for your short-term needs and your emergency fund, that non-negotiable pot of cash to cover unexpected bills. Investing is for your long-term goals: retirement, helping your children, or building significant wealth over your lifetime. It's about accepting a level of risk you are comfortable with, in the pursuit of returns that can genuinely change your financial future. Without it, you're essentially running on a treadmill, working hard just to stand still against inflation. Now we know why we should consider investing, let's talk about the how. And for most people in the UK, the starting point should be an ISA. ISA stands for Individual Savings Account, but I want you to think of it as a tax wrapper. It's not an investment itself, it's a special type of account that you can put your savings or investments into. The magic of this wrapper is that it shields whatever is inside from the taxman. Any growth, any interest, any dividends you earn within an ISA are completely 100% tax-free forever. This is a huge deal. Let me put that into perspective. If you were to invest outside of an ISA, you would potentially have to pay capital gains tax on your profits when you sell your investments. You might also have to pay tax on the dividends, the income paid out by some companies to their shareholders. Over many years, this tax can take a significant bite out of your returns, slowing down that compounding snowball we just talked about. The ISA wrapper protects your money from all of that, allowing it to grow completely unhindered by tax. It's one of the most generous tax breaks the government gives us, and it's vital you take advantage of it if you can. Every tax year, which runs from the 6th of April to the 5th of April the following year, you get a new ISA allowance. For the current 2024 to 2025 tax year, that allowance is a whopping £20,000. This is the maximum amount of new money you can put into your ISAs in 1 year. You can put the full £20,000 into one type of ISA, or you can split it across different types, which we'll cover in a moment. The important thing to remember is that it's a use it or lose it allowance. If you don't use your £20,000 allowance by the 5th of April, you can't carry it over to the next year. It's gone. So to recap, an ISA is not a product, it's a shield, a tax-proof container for your money. Whether you're a cautious saver or a more adventurous investor, using an ISA is almost always the most sensible first step. It ensures that every penny of growth your money makes is yours to keep. For anyone in the UK looking to build wealth, understanding and utilising your annual ISA allowance is not just a good idea, I'd argue it is absolutely fundamental. It is the bedrock of tax-efficient financial planning for the vast majority of people. Right, so you understand an ISA is a tax wrapper, but it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. There are several different types of ISA, each designed for a different purpose. Think of them as different members of a family, each with their own personality. The first and most common one is the cash ISA. This is the simplest of the lot. You put your cash in and it earns a variable or fixed rate of interest, completely tax-free. It's very low risk as your money isn't invested in the stock market. It's suitable for people who are risk-averse or for storing your emergency fund or short-term savings you don't want to expose to market fluctuations. The downside is that, like a standard savings account, the interest rates may not beat inflation. Next up is the one we're focusing on today, the Stocks and Shares ISA. This is the investment version. You open this account with an investment platform, and inside it you can buy things like shares, funds and bonds. This is where you have the potential for much higher growth over the long term, but it comes with the risk we've discussed. The value can fall. This ISA is for people who understand that risk, have a longer time horizon, at least 5 years, and want to give their money the best possible chance to grow significantly over time. This is the ISA you use for long-term wealth building. Then there are a couple of specialist ISAs. The Lifetime ISA, or LISA, is a bit of a hybrid. You can hold cash or stocks and shares within it, and it's designed for 2 specific goals: buying your first home or saving for retirement after you turn 60. Its superpower is that for every £4 you save, the government adds £1 up to a maximum bonus of £1,000 per year. You have to be between 18 and 39 to open one, but the catch is there's a hefty 25% penalty if you withdraw the money for any other reason than your first home or retirement. So it's fantastic for those specific goals, but inflexible for anything else. Finally, there's the Innovative Finance ISA, often called the IFISA. This allows you to invest your money through peer-to-peer lending, where you're essentially lending your money directly to individuals or businesses in return for interest. The potential returns can be attractive, but the risks are much higher. The loans can default, meaning you lose your money, and these investments are not covered by the £85,000 FSCS protection. This is a much more specialist and high-risk area, and frankly, for most beginners, it's one to be very cautious about and probably avoid until you are much more experienced. For most people starting out, the choice will be between a cash ISA for safety and a stocks and shares ISA for growth. So you've decided a stocks and shares ISA is the way forward. You've opened an account with a provider. Now what? You look inside and you're faced with a dizzying array of options. What do you actually buy? Let's break down the main types of investments. First, you have individual stocks or shares. This is when you buy a small piece of a single company, like Tesco or BP or Apple. If that company does well, the value of your share can rise significantly. The problem for a beginner is that it's very high risk. You're putting all your eggs in one basket. If that one company fails, you could lose your entire investment. It requires a lot of research, and it's generally not the best place for a novice to start. A much more sensible starting point for most people is a fund. Think of a fund as a giant shopping basket that contains hundreds or even thousands of different investments. Instead of buying one share in one company, you buy a unit of the fund, which gives you a tiny slice of all the companies within that basket. This is brilliant because it gives you instant diversification. If one company in the fund does badly, it has a very small impact on your overall investment because it's balanced out by all the others. There are different types like mutual funds or unit trusts, which are actively managed by a fund manager who tries to beat the market. This expertise comes at a cost, in the form of higher fees. Another hugely popular type of fund, and my preferred starting point for many, is an exchange-traded fund, or ETF. These are also baskets of investments, but they typically passively track a market index like the FTSE 100, the 100 biggest companies in the UK, or the S&P 500, the 500 biggest in the US. Because they just follow the market rather than trying to beat it, there's no expensive fund manager, which means the fees are usually much lower. Lower fees mean more of your money stays invested and working for you. For a beginner, a simple, low-cost global tracker ETF can be a fantastic way to get broad exposure to thousands of companies across the world in a single, easy purchase. Finally, you might see options for bonds. A bond is essentially an IOU. You are lending money to a government or a large corporation, and in return, they promise to pay you back on a set date and pay you regular interest along the way. Bonds are generally considered lower risk than shares because their returns are more predictable, but that also means their potential for growth is lower. They can be a good way to add some stability to a portfolio, but for a young investor with a long time horizon, a higher allocation to shares and funds is often more appropriate to maximize growth. The key takeaway here is diversification. Don't bet the farm on one horse. Spread your risk by using funds. Okay, theory is great, but let's turn this into action. How do you actually go from watching this video to making your first investment? Here is a simple 5-step plan. Step 1. Set your financial goals. Why are you investing? Is it for a house deposit in 10 years? For retirement in 30 years? For your children's future? Knowing why you're investing will determine your strategy and how much risk you should take. Be specific. Write it down. This gives you a tangible target to work towards and helps you stay the course when markets get choppy. Without a goal, you're just sailing without a rudder. Step 2. Assess your risk tolerance. We've touched on this, but it's crucial. Be brutally honest with yourself. How would you feel if your £1,000 investment dropped to £800 overnight? Would you see it as a buying opportunity, or would you panic and sell? Most good investment platforms have questionnaires to help you figure this out. This isn't about being brave, it's about being realistic. Choosing investments that match your comfort level is key to avoiding costly emotional decisions later on. There is no right or wrong answer, only what's right for you. Step 3. Open a stocks and shares ISA with a reputable provider. This is the practical part. There are dozens of platforms out there, from established names like Hargreaves Lansdown and Fidelity to newer app-based providers like Vanguard, Freetrade, or Trading 212. Your choice will depend on what you value. Do you want a wide range of investment choices? Or are you happy with a smaller selection of low-cost funds? The most important factor for a beginner is to look at the fees. Compare platform fees, dealing charges, and fund charges. Over the long term, high fees are a massive drag on your returns. Do your research and pick a low-cost, well-regarded platform. Step 4. Start small and invest regularly. You do not need a huge lump sum to begin. Many platforms let you start with as little as £25 a month. The key is to make it a habit. Set up a direct debit for the day after you get paid. This strategy is called drip feeding or pound cost averaging. By investing the same amount each month, you buy more units when prices are low and fewer when they're high. This smooths out the bumps of market volatility and removes the temptation to try and time the market, which is a fool's game even for professionals. Consistency is far more important than timing. Start now, start small, and be consistent. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with a few final crucial tips that will serve you well on your investment journey. My first and most important tip is to think long-term. I cannot stress this enough. The stock market is volatile in the short term. There will be bad days, bad months, and even bad years. This is normal. The people who lose money are often the ones who panic during a downturn and sell at the bottom. The people who make money are the ones who have a plan, stick to it, and give their investments the time they need to recover and grow. Do not check your portfolio every day. It will drive you mad. Think in terms of years and decades, not days and weeks. My second tip, watch out for fees. Fees are the silent killer of investment returns. A 1% difference in annual fees might not sound like much, but over 30 or 40 years of compounding, it can cost you tens or even hundreds of thousands of pounds in lost growth. Always check the total cost of investing, the platform fee, any trading fees, and the ongoing charges of the funds you choose. Favor low-cost platforms and simple passive tracker funds, especially when you're starting out. Keeping your costs low is one of the few things you have direct control over, and it's one of the most effective ways to boost your long-term results. Third, never stop learning, but don't get overwhelmed. Finance can seem complex, but the basics are quite simple. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch videos like this one. The more you understand, the more confident you'll become. However, don't fall into analysis paralysis, where you spend so much time researching that you never actually start. It's better to start now with a simple, sensible, low-cost global tracker fund than to wait 5 years trying to find the perfect investment. Perfection is the enemy of good. Start simple, and you can always adjust and become more sophisticated as your knowledge grows. Finally, a 2-part tip. Use your ISA allowance every single year if you possibly can. It is a gift from the government, so don't waste it. Even if you can only put in a small amount, get it in there before the April 5th deadline. And secondly, remember this video is guidance, not regulated financial advice. For complex situations, or if you have a large amount of money and are genuinely unsure, paying for a one-off session with a qualified independent financial advisor can be a very sensible investment in itself. They can create a plan tailored specifically to your personal circumstances. So, there we have it. We've covered why you should invest, the power of the tax-free ISA wrapper, the different options available, and a clear action plan to get you started. I know this can feel like a lot of information, but the most important thing you can do now is take that first step. Starting your investment journey is genuinely one of the most empowering financial decisions you can make. It's about taking control, being proactive, and building a future where your money is working for you, not the other way around. It's absolutely possible, and it's more accessible now than it has ever been. Please be patient with yourself and with the process. You won't become a millionaire overnight, and that's not the goal. The goal is steady, consistent progress over many years. There will be times when you feel like you're not getting anywhere, or when market news is scary. That is the time to remember your long-term goals and stick to your plan. Keep investing those regular amounts, keep your costs low, and dedicate a little bit of time each month to continue learning and growing your knowledge. Your future self will be incredibly grateful for the discipline and foresight you show today. Remember, investing is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about building sustainable long-term wealth that can provide you with security and freedom in the years to come. You now have the foundational knowledge to begin. The power is in your hands. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Please do hit that like button if you did, and subscribe for more clear, no-nonsense financial guidance. Go and start your journey.